Hello, hi, Dara here, Truth with Dr. Dara, and we are live on Thursday night. Welcome to those of you who are just checking in. Just let me know when you're here and wave, and you can go ahead and ask any questions that you have down here at the bottom. We're also on Instagram Live at the same time, so I'm really stretching my technological capabilities right now. Awesome. I see a couple of you are jumping on, more than a couple of you. Great. Welcome. Cool. Again, hey. So here we are. Hiya, Debbie, Amy, yay, Mom. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type it down in the bottom and I'll get to them. And if I haven't gotten to them, just let me know. So life is all about flexibility and making shift happen. And that's what we're doing tonight, because we were going to do it tomorrow, but here we are on a Thursday night. So I love that all of you could get on and hang out with me. And we are going to talk about making shift happen in the new year. And right now there is people going left and right and talking about the idea of setting their New Year's resolutions. Well, we're going to talk about setting intentions versus resolutions. So right off the bat, let's tell me, is there anybody here who's already set what their resolutions are? If you have, go ahead and put it in the comments below. What resolutions are you already setting? And what you're setting, and what we're going to talk about is the idea of a resolution. I don't know about for you, but how many times have you guys set resolutions and then before you know it, you are into the month and you completely forgot what you even started or shifted around from what it is that you're wanting to make happen? Well, we're going to talk about the idea of setting an intention. What I love about an intention is that when you are setting it, it's very open and flexible and awesome. I see a couple more of you are on Instagram. So again, if you have any questions, just shoot them on down, wave hello. Good to see you guys. Look at me. This was part of my intention, is being more technologically advanced and being able to reach more of you in a period of time. So with an intention, the awesome thing is you're putting it out there. With an intention, you're setting it so that it is out there and energy can come to it. It's flexible and you don't know exactly what it's going to look like. With a resolution, it's very rigid. It's very set. So if I say that I want to lose 5 pounds and my New Year's resolution is of losing 5 pounds and I am not exactly where I want to be and I'm at 4, the next thing you know, you are feeling defeated and frustrated. And with a resolution, it's definitive. There's an ending part to it. If you are setting an intention, it's very open. The possibilities are completely available and you could take it beyond into more places than you even imagine. So the idea with an intention is that it is open-ended. It's like if I were to ask you in the beginning, I said, do you have New Year's resolutions? And you either say yes or no. Well, when you're setting a resolution, that's what happens. It's a yes or no answer. When you're setting an intention, the answer is yes, yes, and yes. It's endless what is possible to happen when you are setting that intention. So we're very open about that. And people, some of the questions that I got was, number one, how do I know how to set an intention? Well, an intention is just opening it up. And let's face it, some research says that it takes 3 weeks to make a habit. The research now really says that it takes about 60 days. So with 60 days, you want to be doing things that are realistic. What gets in people's way is setting things that are not going to happen for them. If you're a nurse and you work 12-hour shifts, setting a intention of going and exercising during that day that you're working the shift is going to be crazy impossible. But if you have an intention and you can be flexible with it, picking it in a way that's going to fit in your schedule, maybe on a Saturday, or setting it for 2 or 3 days in the beginning of the week, is going to make it happen. It's going to set it up so that you can get it done. And I like to call it lowballing. You want to set it exactly where it's at so that you can make yourself and prepare yourself for success. Because if you are just looking at it like, hey, I'm just gonna go for broke, I mean, how many people are adopting different lifestyles right now that is not realistic, and the longevity of it isn't there. So you want to pick things that are appealing and fun and feel like it's something that you can do. And with that, you want to find other people in the same boat as you. So if you've decided that you're going to go to Timbuktu, but you don't know anybody that's going or anybody that can help support that along the way, I see a lot more of you, Connie, Stacy, Jen, Carol, people bouncing in your own recovery. So glad to have you, Victoria. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comments. Look at me, two timing. This is my intention happening right now. Me focusing on two different things of technology. So if I can do this, anything is possible coming up in the new year. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about resolutions versus setting intentions. And intentions are open-ended and flexible, and possibility and all our energy drives in the direction that we want to, versus resolutions that feel very tight and constricted and rigid. And they have a definitive place. If you have a resolution, it's like you're putting it out there and there's an end mark. With an intention, anything is possible. So be asking yourself right now, as I'm talking, what are your intentions? What is your intention when you sat down right now, tonight, with me? What was your intention of trying to get out of where we're at and what you can do? So right then and there, you're making that clear and putting that out to me and driving that energy for me to give it right to you. Where if your resolution was, well, I'm just gonna sit and watch 5 podcasts or 5 Facebook Lives a week to try to help myself, ugh, boring. So boring. You want to do it in something that is fun and that can be entertaining. Sharon, Lucille, wow, all of you just popping in here. Glad to have you. Have any questions? Put them down here. Comments, put them down here. So making it realistic, getting a buddy to do it with you, and really focusing on what is going to work in your lifestyle and making it be something that you can continue forward and how you can get there. Because oftentimes, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not Betty Crocker. So I've set an intention to make more healthful meals for my family and dinner times. Dinner time is really challenging for me. Often I'm getting in at around 5 o'clock and it feels rushed, and one thing that happens to me is I walk in and I throw my hands up and the kids want my attention and the dogs want my attention and I don't know what to make. So failure to plan is a plan to fail. So my intention is to make more healthful food options for my kids, but I'm not Betty Crocker. So I've got to be realistic with what I'm going to follow and what I'm going to do to get that done. And sometimes it's not necessarily doing it in a way that has to be all gourmet, but knowing that I've got it there. And that's going to include me being very clear of my intention of making a shopping list before I even start in the beginning of the week. Because I would like to think that so many people are just so big on making their resolutions around food. Oh, I see you. Look, good to see you, Reggie, Sharon, Reggie, Alicia, Jackie. You're all here. Yay, so good to see you guys. You guys are so close to me, but yet so far away. I need you closer and in person. Awesome. Jennifer, you're on too. Good to have you. So if you have any questions, just put it down here in the bottom and I'll get to them as quickly as I can. We're talking about resolutions versus intentions and that feeling of you love shopping lists, right? We all do, and having that shopping list, but sometimes there's this idea that you have this resolution that you're gonna make it and it feels so pressured and so intense. But if you are setting an intention of it, then it's gonna happen for you. And if there's that intention, it doesn't mean it has to be perfect, because that's what gets in our way most of the time, is thinking that we have to do it in such a perfect way and with such intensity that you don't even start it. I mean, I don't know about you, but if something feels like such a big project, I just find every excuse in the book to bail out. Another question that I got this week was around, well, how do you make it stick? How do you make the intention stick? Because momentum starts to burn. And it's got to be fun. It has to be fun. Yeah, there's this idea that if you do something because you have to do it, it's great, but if you don't see the benefit, you're not going going to keep it going. So even the fact that there's a group of you watching right now, that's fun. There was accountability. You guys came together, you set a time, and you got in on it. And even for some of you, which I know is so cute, I completely stalked some of you today. So you knew that if I was stalking you, you had to tune in. So Hannah and Paula, I see that you guys just jumped on. Welcome. Esma, oh my gosh, Esma is jumping in from Germany, you guys. So that means she's up in the middle of the night just to come hang out with you. Esma, I've never really had any New Year's resolutions because I always think I'll never really stick to them. Anyway, maybe this will help me set some intentions for 2019. Exactly. A lot of times we do get intimidated. You know, I was scared to dream for many years because I always thought that if I put it out there in the world, then I risked failure. And I believe that that's what happens for people with resolutions. It's like if I put it out there, then that means I would rather not put it out there than risk not doing it. But with an intention, you're just letting something float. You're just putting something out there and it's floating out there as a possibility. And so why it doesn't stick is because it's not a realistic possibility. It's not something that seems enjoyable or something that you would want to maintain. Let's talk a minute why, because the question people say to me, well, why doesn't it happen? Even if you have set a resolution or an intention, why doesn't it work? Well, the honest truth is it has nothing to do with going on with you here in the forefront of your brain. Elisa says, I love intentions because they're actually realistic goals. Exactly. Elisa, that's my aunt, so I call her Aunt Elisa. And Debbie, exactly, putting it out there. I like this floating thing. Yeah, well, I like to float too, because if you know me, I like to float. And Debbie likes to really swirly float out in the ocean. But the idea is that the intention is floating, but why does this get stuck? Why isn't this happening sometimes for you guys when you're doing it? Because it's not here. It's going on back here. It's not a conscious decision. None of you woke up on January 1st, 2019 and said, oh, I'm not going to make this happen. Where it's been getting stuck is in the back of your mind. Because, you know, I like to think of the brain as data that's coming in. And there is this idea that information comes in. Some of us call them memories. Well, the way that you have a memory is all about your perception. It's all about mind's perception. You and I could have been in the same place today at the same exact time, but we have two completely different perceptions of what went on. That happens for me in sessions all the time, right? I'm with people and my perception of it is completely different. And a lot of you have siblings, right? So you had siblings and you grew up in the same house, but completely different ideas of how it went down. So our brain reads things. Our brain has physiological and emotional responses to perceived threat, situations, or memories, or data that it's reading. And when that goes in, it processes. And often where our mind gets stuck is thinking that it's reading old information as being current. So if there's been something that's happened for you at another time in your life, your brain is reading that and your brain is thinking that something needs to be done with that. And the truth of the matter is nothing needs to be done. It's kind of like if I took my hand and I was at the beach and I put it down and I made an imprint. If I made the imprint and it was there, would I be still making it or would it be something that's already made? It would have already been made. And that's what happens when our brain is reading information and data. It's information that is already been read. So it's not something that's new. And our brain gets stuck like a tape recorder, replaying it over and over and over again, opposed to taking in the new information and seeing what is. I'm going to be a little dramatic for a moment. But what goes on is it's kind of like a trauma because everybody's perception of trauma is different, a little t or a big T. So if something had happened for you at one time, your brain processes that. Your brain gets it stuck, and when something else is coming up, it's happening again. So for example, if somebody did happen to have a memory of setting a resolution and they didn't have success with it, every time that it comes up for them, they're thinking, bam, bam, ugh, and they don't want to do it. Where an intention is just putting it out there, and it's something that has options ahead and moving forward. I see a couple more of you jumping on, and I see a question. And just FYI, I've got my friend Denzel, my Italian Greyhound, with me today. He's He's over here. He's a little occupied with his treat. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. See, he's my accountability buddy tonight. Connie, you're asking a question. What happens if you feel the physical stress of the memory? Well, really, nothing's happening. That's great news if you're feeling, Debbie's saying hi to you, Denzel. What's great news if you're feeling some physical sensations, because if you're feeling physical sensations, that's just letting you know that something is going on, because I have news for all of you. If I said to every single one of you right now, we are going to Kauai, Hawaii tomorrow, well, I would be pretty stoked because that's my favorite place in the whole world. But if I said that to you guys, there would be a physiological response. For some of us, you would be freaking out, and for others, you would be like way excited. But whether you're excited or not, Iris, I see you're just jumping in. You would be feeling something physiological. Maybe your armpits would sweat. That happens to me. Or you would be getting shaky. Your voice would get up. So whether I call you right now and give you news that's not great, or I say to you, we're going to Hawaii tomorrow, you would have a physiological response with it. And that physiological response, your brain doesn't know if it's good or bad. Your brain does not know if Ed McMahon shows up and is giving you $1 million, or if there is somebody telling you that your car was just totaled. But your body has these physiological responses, and your brain responds to that. So Connie, when you're getting that response of stress from a memory, your brain is thinking that something needs to be done with it. And the reality of it is that there's nothing to be done, because it's just information. It's just information that your brain is reading. It's just an imprint that's been left. Making sense to you guys? If you're not, please let me know and I can continue to elaborate, because as you guys know, I love this stuff. And the moral of all of this, and what my clear intention of tonight is, for us to be setting intentions and to be just booting out resolutions altogether. Setting clear intentions so that shift can happen, making that shift happen, and make your intentions big. I am going to say that. Make your intentions big, because I feel like what happens so often is that people set intentions, but they set them really small. Make them big. It doesn't mean that that's what you're going for, but then create it in a realistic way. So if you have an intention, it's not about the intention, it's about the plan that you make to get to it. So break it into sections. You know, have this big thing and then have this little stuff to build up to it. So baby shifts. That's what we want to do, is create baby shifts. I see another comment. Connie, let me see if I can keep with you. It makes me scared, the feelings. I feel like I don't process emotions normally because everyone tells me I overreact. But what if the same actions of the memory repeat itself? More like feelings fade over time unless re-stimulated. Yeah, and they're feelings. They're definitely feelings. So I like it when you guys tell me that you're having feelings, because what that lets me know is that you're alive. And if you're having responsive reactions, it means that you care. So I'm looking for people in my world that care and have reactions. And there's the part of it though that even if there's a fear with it, like roll with it, because I got news for you. Shift is scary. Doing things that are uncomfortable is scary. I mean, if you saw me about 30 minutes ago, I was pacing the floor. This is so scary, even getting on here with you right now. I mean, there wasn't any part of me this morning that was like, okay, let's go live. Clearly, I thought we were doing this tomorrow. But you know what? We're going to keep rolling with this, and we're going to do this every Thursday night like I committed, and we're going to do it the whole month. And if you can show up, then I can show up. And even if you don't show up, I'm going to show up, because my intention is clear. And so, Connie, yes, you're alive and you care, and no one else does the same stuff and feels invalidated. I'm sorry, and about the same stuff, and I feel invalidated and abandoned. Well, we just have to get you hanging out with the right people that are going to get it. I mean, there's a part of it, like you said, feelings fade unless re-stimulated. And so when we're focusing on intentions, we want to focus on what is working, because, you know, I got news for you. When people talk to me about resolutions, the second word out of their mouth or the second sentence is them talking about what hasn't worked for them. I don't want to hear about what's not working. I mean, you can take it and you can write it down, but I want to hear about what is working for you. What are the clear intentions what are your strengths? What's going to get you through this? Not what's going to get in your way. I mean, if you want to make a list of what's going to get in your way, let's go ahead and get that out of the way right now. But let's find out what you are capable of doing and breaking that down and setting realistic intentions on a day-to-day basis. So baby shifts. You've got that big thing going. Don't cheat me. Don't cheat me. Don't tell me, oh, that seems like too much. Put it out there, but it doesn't mean that's what you're doing. And more than anything, this is what gets me. Oh, you guys know that this gets me. When people say to me, I've got it and it's not happening. Well, clearly it's not going to happen. What I need you is setting out that intention, and with that intention, acting as if it's already happened. I've got a question. How important is it to have those who are in... I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this. Bear with me. How important is it to have those who are in believing in your intention? So it's important when setting an intention when you're working towards. Like with other people, is that what you're talking about, Madi? I mean, if that's where you're going about how important it is for other people, or is it for you and believing in your intention? Well, you believing in your intention, I gotta have you believing in your intention because that's what you want. Other people, I don't give a shift what other people feel about your intention because it's about you. Because often what happens when people are setting resolutions is they're setting them for other people, or they're setting them for who they think that they're supposed to be setting them for and not for themselves. So if you're setting that intention clearly for you, then you're on it. Yeah, Stacy, exactly, the law of attraction. You're putting out there what you want to attract more of. So if you're putting out some resolutions that make you wrinkle up just when you say them, it's not going to happen because what you're thinking and what you're wanting to happen are not on the same frequency. So totally the law of attraction. And that's the whole idea of where the unconscious mind is taking over compared to conscious mind. So as long as you're putting it in an intention and it's as it's already happened, you're letting your unconscious mind know what the possibilities are. Because Mari says having others that can hold you accountable or even cheering you on for your intention. Exactly. Yes, because I mean, water seeks its own level, and if you want to have a pity party, you're going to find lots of people around you to have a pity party. If you want to find a bunch of people that are not into setting realistic and going for it with intentions, you can find, we could have a whole group on everybody talking about the resolutions that they haven't achieved. So, let's see, it says, I feel almost like it's post-traumatic stress disorder. Is there an effective plan or action to cope? Or is it a personalized? Well, it's definitely personalized because it's by individuality, and how it affects one person is different than another. But Connie, without being dramatic and throwing around labels, the way that your brain reads things is how, because it could be little t's or big t's. You don't know how your brain affects. You could have heard something when you were 7 years old and your mind is still holding on to that, but that's not at a conscious level. So I'm not really interested in getting into all that. And the way to cope, Connie, is just doing what you're doing and seeing yourself exactly the way that you want yourself. So setting out very clear intentions as if they've already happened. And if someone wants to bash your intentions, etc., stop the conversation in its tracks. Exactly, Debbie. You're a big talker. You're a wonderful talker, Debbie. But that's exactly it. So go where it feels good. Hang out with people that feel clear to you. So if you're already on here right now, I'm totally on with you. I'm already feeling like you're connecting with people that have got the same clear intention. So you guys have been amazing. Let me know if we have any more questions before we start to wrap up. And I appreciate all the feedback. Continue sending me these questions. I'm really excited for 2019. I've got to tell you, I've been very clear about the intentions that I've set, and they're big, like they're real big. This spring there's going to be a book coming out, and that's scary stuff. And it's not a resolution, it's an intention. I could put out an intention. My date in my head is May 23rd. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen, but I know that that's where my mind is gravitating towards. My other intentions for the year is being helpful. And like I mentioned, getting in meals for my kids, like really making realistic stuff. Because, I'm like you, hashtag the struggle is real. Making it work and getting it all in is is imperative. Oh, awesome, Reggie. How do you strengthen the intention? Just keep setting it. Just keep setting it. It's easy enough to say it once, right, but say it all the time. I mean, that's part of your daily habits and practices, and a lot of you on here are awesome with that. You know, that's where you're getting up and writing and making affirmative decisions and affirmative sentences and doing it. Should it be revisited? Yes, all the time. You're seeing yourself as it's already done. Some of the tips that I use and I highly recommend is that, you know, I sit down sometimes and I write it out. I write it out as if the day has already happened. Like if you were hanging out with me, this is my space. This is where I hang out a lot of times at 4:20 in the morning. I know that's ridiculous, right? But that's my quiet time. And that's when I write out my day as if it's already happened. Because if I set that intention out and that's what's going to happen, then it can't not happen. I make a to-do list every day for work. I will put some intentions on there now as well. Yes, exactly. Because you wouldn't leave the house without stuff for your kids, right? You make that clear of what's going to happen. If you take your kids out for the day, you already have it planned out. Well, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. That's what I want from you. I want us doing that for ourselves. So no, you don't have to get up at 4:20, but first thing you do when you get up, you can write your day out. You know, one of my things that I love to do is I make an audio. I mean, clearly I like to talk and I like to talk to myself now, right? Nobody argues, but I make an audio as if it's already happened. Like there's already so many of them. My January 31st is already a done deal. I've already discussed physically what my intentions are, in my business what my intentions are, personally what my intentions are, spiritually what's going on. So physically I'm speaking how I want to feel, what I want to look like, what I want to look like when I'm doing these things, who I want around me. So take a piece of paper, break it into 4 columns: physical, spiritual, business, and wait, I'm forgetting one. Spiritual, physical, money, that's business. And help me somebody, I'm blanking out. If I forget it now, I will put it in just a few minutes, but hold on, I'm determined. You guys know I'm determined. We've got physical, so how I feel and what I'm going to do, my working out, my eating, spiritually, how I'm going to connect with that thing I call my higher power, or maybe it's just going out for walks or being in the sunshine, whatever it is that you do, what your business is going to look like, what are your financial goals, what is all that, and most important, your relationships. Yay, we've got a winner. Relationships. How do you want it to be, right? Doing that stuff, well, health would be part of physical. But relationships, who do you want to hang out with? What do you want it to look like? I already have it planned out in my mind how many dates I want with my husband and what they're going to look like and who I'm going to do and the way that I'm going to feel. Because if I am putting out that intention, it comes right to me. It comes right to me. So I'm seeing a couple more comments and being consumed with your kids. Totally. You're all about it, Connie. That's why we love you, because you're so into taking care of everybody else. So I get it, but let's just reserve a little more space. Like right now, this is time for you. And I'm just loving this so much. I just want to leave you. As you're setting your intentions, you've got to have pee-pee parties. What is a pee-pee party? A pee-pee party is getting excited. I've got my dog over here, Denzel. Yes, that's really his name, Denzel. And he would go to the bathroom in the house, and there would be moments that I would want to take him and like rub his nose in it. But that is not going to get him to go outside. So the times that it wasn't working, when he did go outside, oh, I would go outside. My neighbors think I'm a little nutty, but they would hear, yes, Denzel, way to go pee-pee. And then the more and more I would get him going outside where I want him to go. And then the other part of it is I have my son. This year was a big pee-pee house for 2018. But now he goes to the bathroom and he doesn't wear diapers, right? So I don't want him when like he messed it up or he mixed it or he didn't make it to the toilet. I'm not going to sit here and shame him about it. But when that little boy goes to the bathroom, his name is Nevin, I had pee-pee parties. There was this crazed mommy going, yes, Nevin, and we had a pee-pee in the party, pee-pee in the party. Well, you know, even a couple months ago, I'm going to tell you this, he was outside and I look outside the kitchen and there he is and I see his cute little tush and he's peeing outside. Totally peeing outside. My husband and I are laughing. And I had a decision to make right there. Either I could start laughing at him when I saw him. I could either say nothing or I could tell him, Nevin, why are you going to the bathroom outside? Well, casually we were like, hey, Nevin, what are you doing out there? And he says, oh, I was going pee-pee, you know, I mean, that's what the dogs do. Makes total sense to me. We ignored it. And what I do know is the next time he went to the bathroom inside, I had a pee-pee party. He didn't do it again because he saw that he didn't get any attention from it. Well, I want you guys to give attention for what is working. Because if you're focusing on what's not working, you're going to get more of what's not working. So, pee-pee parties in the new year, setting clear intentions, baby shifts, and having fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to get in on the private group, Truth with Dr. Dara. There's no questions to raw, spicy, genuine, or real. Or you're also welcome, oh, I've got the lingo, to DM me. You can text me. You can email me, dara@drdara.com. Be sure to get on the newsletter. You can sign up for that at my website, www.drdara.com. Debbie, you rock, because here you are with me, and I love that you're on my journey. So I see here we are. Connie, you and I are going to connect. I'm so looking forward to seeing you in a couple of months. And baby shifts, let's make this happen. Happy New Year, everybody. Take care. Have a good one. See you next week, Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Esra, thank you from Germany. Woo! Red, I want to know. I want you to message me and tell me what those intentions are. Bye, Carol. Take care, everybody. Good night. Reggie. See you guys soon.